You came here because you want to know the answer to the question, what will help me make faster progress with English? And I can give it to you straight away. Your choices. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting different results. This is going to be a triggering video for many people who struggle to make progress with English, but if you stay and really listen, it's going to be one of the most important things you will hear this year. The number of struggling English students who keep asking what will help me make faster progress with English, but don't realize how much power they have in improving their English so much faster simply by revisiting the choices they make about learning English is still shocking to me. People who are terrified of speaking English in front of other people, or people who keep staying stuck at the same level because they are kind of scared of taking risks and doing something different about their English because of some sort of fear, aren't actually terrified. They're making a choice. They're making a choice of keeping on focusing on the things that make them terrified. And this is something I always tell my students the first time they join my coaching program. Your attention, what you pay attention to, is your superpower. When people, for example, say that they don't know what to say or they don't remember vocabulary, many times the cause, and it's something that they don't realize, they made a choice of not learning English effectively. So this video is a reminder and a kind of crash course on probably one of the most important things that will help you make progress with English: your choice. The choice of what you think, how you respond to how you feel, and the actions you take about learning English. When you're learning English, you can always choose to do the same and continue to use the old school, ineffective, traditional ways of studying English, or choose to do it differently to see different results. Hey English learner, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chubby. I'm an English fluency, learning and language anxiety coach, and this is a channel for serious English learners who want to learn how to make vocabulary more memorable with the power of listening and spoken interaction, and want to speak English more freely, confidently and comfortably. So if these are topics you're interested in, make sure you hit that follow button right now and hit the notification bell so you get my weekly updates on everything around speaking English, listening to English, and expanding your vocabulary. Now let me show you how powerful your choices can be.
I still remember the joy I felt just after a few weeks I was in the program, when I realized that I started thinking in English. It has been a wonderful feeling, and now I even started teaching English online, which is something that I'm quite sure I wouldn't have done if I hadn't been part of this program.
I was always afraid of saying things in different ways because I didn't want my mistakes to be detected, and now I think differently. Yeah, it's really important to experiment. I've learned to gradually step out of my comfort zone and try expressing myself in different ways, using different expressions in English.
The biggest breakthroughs for me, I would say, they've been the mindset and the way of studying English now. Now I feel more confident. I can talk with my classmates about many different topics.
It has been a life-changing experience. I remember that I couldn't have a full conversation in English without forgetting a word or an expression. I got stuck while speaking. I didn't pronounce correctly the word, so I wasn't able to convey my message correctly. Since then, I started building up my confidence, and this helped me to be this fluent speaker that I am now. Now I'm this girl who can help people out there who are struggling with their fluency or with their English as well. And this is something that not other program could have offered me.
Now these people aren't wondering anymore, what will help me make faster progress with English? They have these results because they chose to take action, find fun and motivating ways of learning English, and keep going with the help of coaching so they can manage learning English and navigate through their lives while learning English effectively, making the right choices, prioritizing and setting the habits they need to overcome their difficulties and reach fluency in a much faster way than if they went to a traditional language school. Now, if you've been watching some of my other videos and have been following my story, you know that I used to be extremely shy back in my teens at high school. My classmates used to use me, literally use me. I was writing homework for them because I was a people pleaser. People also made fun of me for being too nerdy, for always knowing the answer to the questions the teachers were asking, for being too girly, or for coming from a lower middle class family. They looked down on me. I could have had every reason to stay shy. I mean, the world was horrible to me. My hometown bullied me for years. People were using me, but I still made the choice of not being shy and feel so much better in my own skin being myself. And I also may not be the most popular teacher with my methods of encouraging and inspiring people to believe in themselves, to create the habits they need instead of just explaining grammar and vocabulary to them. Encouraging people to work on themselves so they find much more freedom and much less worrying and headaches in their English learning. Find more effective ways of making use of their limited time they get to walk on this planet. But honestly, I'm so glad I made that choice, because these testimonials, people literally changing their lives because they learned to speak English fluently and confidently. People saying yes to doing something that might be a bit challenging. It's a lot of fun as well, but it might be difficult sometimes to make time for it as an adult. But saying yes to something that eventually helps them build a better, freer, richer, more fulfilled life could never have happened if I hadn't made that choice. Your current level of English fluency and the confidence you have and the reason why you clicked on this video, what will help me make faster progress with English, is the result of all the choices you've made about learning English up to this point in your life. And if you want to make much faster progress with your English fluency, get to that level where you speak English freely, not thinking about every single word you're using because you know what to say, you can walk into any conversation feeling confident, I would love to see you pay much more attention to the choices you make about your English right after watching this video. So let's just start with the question that has the potential of changing the way you're learning English. And if you need to stop the video for about 3 to 5 minutes to reflect, please do so. Thinking from the time you started learning English, what choices have you made about learning English so far? For example, and this is a big one, so many struggling English students keep asking themselves the same question: what will help me make faster progress with English? For years, for decades, not realizing that they've chosen not to learn how to learn a language. You wouldn't just drive a car without understanding the basics of how to drive a car. So why wouldn't you find out as much as you can about the most recent research about how humans learn languages naturally? Is that most struggling English students keep choosing to use the same old traditional methods of studying English that they learned in school, and they never question if they should change the way they think or the things they do about learning English. Most of the time when my students have difficulties learning English, it isn't because they simply aren't intelligent, it's because there's something else going on in their lives and they can't seem to find a way to change it, to set new habits, or to build a life around English. And this is partly why I became a coach. We all live busy lives, and most of my students have a full-time job in the office, hobbies they like doing, family to spend quality time with. So of course they can't choose English to be their first priority, but that's perfectly fine. And you can always check in with yourself, look at what you do in 24 hours and see what doesn't serve you, that doesn't help you build a better, brighter future for yourself, and it's just literally a waste of time and energy, and choose to spend that time effectively learning to speak English. I talk about this a lot more in a more personal video that I've just done on what the most important thing I choose to do actually to help me get to a fluent level of English by the age of 20, and that was to choose to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Many struggling English students forget about the fact that learning to speak English is more of an emotional journey. It's normal because we don't get too much education on how to manage our emotions, and school kind of makes us feel like if you don't know grammar, if you don't know how to pronounce a word, or if you don't remember vocabulary, that's all because you're stupid. but it's mostly because of how we learn to manage our emotions. You, and I can't say this enough, are perfectly capable of learning to speak English fluently if you do what you need to do with the right mindset that helps you make faster progress. Which is why I chose to be a mentor and a coach to my students instead of just giving them grammar explanations or vocabulary explanations that they could find 100 of on YouTube. What do you do when speaking English or expressing yourself with a different choice of words to communicate more effectively scares you? Being scared or nervous if you are saying something you've never said before, if you haven't practiced enough, or you haven't practiced talk about that specific topic that you're discussing is completely normal. But you have a choice, and most people unfortunately choose to avoid that feeling of nervousness or that discomfort that comes from taking a risk and just trying to express yourself in a way that you might never have tried before. And then they spend months and months doubting themselves, regretting not taking action, and just generally feeling bad about not making progress with their English or feeling like they're going backwards, which causes them even more pain that they were trying to avoid in the first place. By avoiding the discomfort, and I know this is not easy for any of us, we live in this world of comfort where you get to order food in 5 minutes and have your comfy bed to sleep in, but if you avoid something that makes you a tiny bit nervous for just a few minutes, until you get used to that feeling by doing it consistently, you're actually causing yourself even more pain. And just like when you're preparing for a trip, you would probably put all your clothes, the stuff together that you want to take with you on that trip the night before or a couple of days before to save yourself from packing your suitcase last minute. Or just like you would brush your teeth every single day to avoid a visit and a hefty bill paid to the dentist. You do these because you think about your future self and you want them to avoid the pain. So you're willing to go through the pain right now. And I'm not saying that learning English needs to be all about constantly whipping yourself, punishing yourself for doing things, forcing yourself to do something difficult and constantly putting yourself into uncomfortable situations. That's not going to work, because eventually what will help you stay motivated and the answer to what will help me make faster progress with English is cultivating these helpful feelings like joy, curiosity, enjoyment, interest, and fun. What I'm saying is that you need to stop your automatic thinking and your habits that are running on autopilot in the last couple of years or decades and start being aware of the fact that you are making a choice in every single minute of your life, whether it's about English or about anything else. And remember that you're in full control of what you think, how you change that, how you respond to when you feel scared, when you feel frustrated, when you feel bored, when you feel tired, and what you do about feeling like this. The choices you make today about learning English will determine how fast you get fluent and confident in speaking English in the future. And the number one thing that helped me get fluent and confident in English by the age of around 20 was making choices for my future self. So make those choices for your future self who can walk into any conversation knowing what to say, without feeling nervous, knowing how to communicate effectively in the global language, who's choosing to make use of their time the best way possible to focus on effectively learning to speak English, not focusing on doing something because it feels comfortable, and making much faster progress on their English fluency journey without all the headaches and feeling stuck all the time. And I'm going to be really meta here, but now, after watching this, you have a choice. You either go back to your old way of thinking, not changing anything about the way you're learning English, continuing to struggle because we've been using strategies from school that never got you fluent in English anyway, and not cultivating a growth mindset that helps you focus on progress instead of perfection, or you choose to start focusing more on doing activities that will help you improve your fluency much faster, so you never have to click on a video again titled "What will help me make faster progress with English?" and choose to do things like what I've been talking about on my entire channel and on my TikTok page as well. You can choose to learn English through listening. You can choose to learn phrases and expressions instead of words, so you could break away from translating word by word and sounding unnatural. You can also choose to build a strong foundation of vocabulary that helps you remember remember vocabulary so much better by systematically reviewing important vocabulary that you want to use in your future conversations. And you can also choose to have interactions, regular conversations with other people to get better at communicating in English. If you choose the second option, you can always download my 14 days worth of free materials that will help you improve your fluency, your speaking, and help you expand your vocabulary in a more natural way based on everything I did in the past and the things I help my students with, so they have a wider range of vocabulary and grammar to express themselves when they speak English. Just click the first link in the description below and I'll send you a short activity that you could do within 15 to 30 minutes a day for the next 2 weeks. And at the end of this video, I honestly can't wait for your English fluency to take a whole different level just because you choose to change the way you're learning and thinking about learning English.